Alright lads, so this morning we did get the announcement of the counterattack summons rerunning. In this case, Ichibei, Kiryu, and also Senjumaru are returning at an appropriate time too, given the fact that we just got Tenjiro and also Uetu. If you are a fan of Squad Zero characters, you now have a chance to pull for all 5 of them. Would have been nice if it was in the same banner, and ultimately, the reason why I'm making this video is in case you are a new player wondering if you should summon. I would highly advise against that. If you've been playing the game for quite some time, you would know that this banner is a very easy skip because quite frankly, there's no valuable characters here. Of course, Ichibei, Senjumaru are great characters. We'll talk about them in a minute. Kiryo's kind of fallen off a tad bit, but I would never pull on a banner like this for new 1000-year Blood characters when the other 6 characters are all very outdated characters. There's some decent links here, some extra orbs because they are resurrectable, but there's no other good filler besides the Squad Zero characters. And one thing that is very important to mention is the fact that we are now a year into these 1000-year Blood War anime characters, and we now know for a mid-month character, after 6 or so months, they become fillers. So 6 months from now, Kensei and also Shinji should start appearing as fillers in future new 1000-year Blood War banners. When it comes to end-of-month characters, it takes a year. We saw in the most recent second part of the anniversary that Yachiru, Chojuro, and also Genrisai became fillers, and then we recently saw Iban, Bambietta, and Kyuge become fillers. So it pretty much does confirm, and we kind of knew this before with how they handled spirits off and with you characters after they became a year old. But what this does mean, given that Ichibei, Kiryu, and Senjumaru did release late November, this for the most part should be their last rerun as a banner, because after November, or in November, they should start becoming fillers in future 1000-year Blood War banners. Given that they rerun now, there's no guarantee that at the end of November they are going to be a filler pool, but that is when they are available to become fillers. So given that the banner itself isn't really the greatest, given that they're eventually going to become fillers starting 3 months from now at the end of November, it's just a very easy skip. I would not pull on this banner. I also think the banner itself has definitely lost value over time. Senjumaru, while on that topic, right, is an amazing farmer, the best farmer in the entire game. She has Frenzy Plus 2. 100% more damage to any enemy that isn't inflicted with a status ailment, very similar to the most recent Uetsu, but the thing with her is that she can go through Iron Skin. That is the ability that you see in Inheritance Trials to farm Super Links or Potions, and then with that, she does increase the amount of Super Links or Potions, and also droplets you can get. Right now, she's basically the best farmer in the entire game. Her clear time and extra drops is absolutely insane, especially all combined in one character, and I did mention it earlier last week, since we are getting an update at the end of the month on the 25th, where they're getting rid of Inheritance Trials, they're getting rid of Inheritance Zone, they're getting rid of Droplet Zone, and now making Links or Trials, that quest should contain Droplets, Links or Potions, and Super Links or Potions all in one quest, and that's going to make Senjumaru even better, and even more insane farmer, because now she's going to be giving you all the extra drops in just one quest. She's already an insane character, and quite frankly, she's the character worth signing for in this banner. She's really, really good, and it's also Senjumaru. She has great visuals, really cool character, and in a way, this is kind of a tease until we eventually get the inevitable 1000-year Blood War Bankai Senjumaru. One thing that is worth mentioning though, if you do own Tensa Zangetsu, you can definitely go without Senjumaru. He is good enough to clear Inheritance Trials, and therefore most likely the upcoming Links or Trials very easily. The only difference between the two is that Senjumaru has more damage, so she clears faster. She's more safe, given the fact that she does have complete status immunity, and she also does give the guaranteed 10 extra droplets. That's something that, Tensa Zangetsu does lack. But given that we are approaching the end of the year, we're going to get a lot of insane back-to-back banners. If you have Tensa, you should be relatively happy with him and not need to pull for Senjumaru with the idea of needing to summon for her. If you want Senjumaru, then of course go for it, but again, I would recommend waiting until she does become a filler in a future better banner. Ichibei is a character that I very much do like, and I think is a really fun character that takes a bit of extra skill, knowing where the enemies are placed, to get the most out of this character. But I will be honest, it has been a common criticism about this character that he isn't fun to play with because of the way he was designed. So it really comes down to if you actually like this character, if it's worth summoning for him. He is a good character, but you need to understand his faults, and that is the fact that when the gauge is not active, his damage output is very, very low. Since he was only given Frenzy Plus 1 and a good Berserker value, he hits like a 5th anniversary character, but when the gauge is active, he then gets an additional Frenzy and even more damage and becomes one of the best characters in the entire game when it comes to damage output. But that's only going to to be for 10 seconds. And that's why it's important to know the map layout to get the most out of his gauge and to refill it as much as possible before that 10-second period of where you have insane damage does wear off. He does have a good strong attack kit, and I think he's very fun, but not everyone's going to like this type of playstyle where the gauge isn't always active, and therefore his damage output isn't going to be as good. He does have some extra usability too, given the fact that he was given 2 killers, that being Soripa and also Quincy. You can use him in those respective guild quest phases. Since he is a technical Soripa, he does get the bust from someone like Swimsuit Jushiro and also Face Battle Soifon. But if you are looking at it from a meta standpoint when it comes to guild quest content, he's replaceable with 1000 Year Blood War Yachi Unohana for the melee Soripa guild quest, also even 1000 Year Blood War True Shikai Ichigo. And then when it comes to the melee Quincy guild quest, Ishin is the better lead, but he can make for a decent side if you have him invested into for the most part. An overall good character, still one of the more fun characters in the entire game, but it really comes down to, again, if you like that gameplay. When it comes to Kiryu, I just think she's bad at this point. Her gameplay isn't that fun the way she was designed. Her SA1 is mediocre. Her SA2 has a long cooldown given the fact that it is a team boost. And for an SP character that isn't Soifon, I just don't like that type of gameplay. It's also Kiryu. She's not really the coolest member of the Squad Zero characters, so she doesn't feel cool to play with. But at the same time, she wants to be used in the ranged human guild quest. But the problem with her is that her SA2 doesn't do any damage. Her SA1 is a terrible range collision attack. So while she has potential to do damage because she has Frenzy +2, an 80% SP boost, and more damage to paralyzed enemies, it's only realistically her SA3 that is doing damage. She still does serve as your team booster, but now we recently just received Tenjiro. And Tenjiro is basically what Kiryu should have been a year ago. A ranged normal attack damage character with high damage output on his normal attacks, boosting your team, and also healing them too. In Tenjiro's case, he has a heal on his SA2 and also SA3. So he ensures that your teammates are going to stay alive while also doing continuous high damage. Kiryu though, is kind of the exact opposite. Not really high damage, not really doing much for the team. Yes, she's boosting them, but she, in a way, I think was replaceable with a character like Orihime, who doesn't do damage, but at least she's boosting and also protecting your team more so than Kiryu. So that's also why this banner can be seen as an easy skip. Kiryu isn't really that good and is replaced now by Tenjiro. Ichibei is a great character, but not everyone's going to like his gameplay, and we now have better characters out there. And then Senjumaru is the highlight of the banner. She's the best character in this banner, a really good farmer that I feel like is going to get more value with this update later this month. But considering the banner itself, you can kind of go about it, especially if you do have Tensangetsu. He will be serviceable for the time being until you can potentially pick up Senjumaru in a later banner when she does become a filler with new 1000 Year Blood War characters. When it comes to the other characters in the banner, Yamamoto really doesn't have much going for him. We are going to be getting 1000 Year Blood War Season 3 next month in October, and what we do see is that they do use this time to resurrect 1000 Year Blood War characters. There's no guarantee they actually do that this year, given the fact that we already had like 3 months of 1000 Year Blood War resurrectable characters at the start of the year. Who actually knows how it's going to play out? But if they are resurrecting 1000 Year Blood War characters once more, it does mean that he is going to get resurrected, pick up more damage output, maybe become a bit more playable, most importantly, maybe become a really good soul trait. Speaking of good soul trait, Orihime is a really good soul trait, one of the best for the power attribute. As a character, doesn't offer much, but the main thing is the link and the extra orbs that you do get for resurrecting them. Yuha doesn't have anything going for him, not a good link, not really anything good, to be honest. He's a cool character, it was our first playable Yuha arc, but he's just mediocre. A bad character, offers more orbs, not really a good link. I mean, recharge and stun recovery can be decent, but more often than not, you are going with recharge and extra damage. Kenpachi, I think, is a good soul trait, got a good resurrection, but again, doesn't hold a candle to the new characters. And if you want to play with a 1000 Year Blood War Kenpachi, we now have the better, more fun 9th Anniversary Kenpachi. Likewise with Yachiru, cool character, iconic in the game, can maybe be used in Brave battles in certain situations if you have a max transcended, but there are always going to be better characters. At the very least, she's a decent link for any future Heart Brave battle unit. The banner itself is a normal battle format, 5-star guaranteed every 5 steps, you get a bunch of discounts. Again, I wouldn't put on the banner. These characters are good when they're fillers. Right now, continue saving your orbs for the next big banner, and that very well could be this upcoming end of month. I mean, we've gotten a new 1000 Year Blood War banner every end of month for the last like 5 months now, 4 months. But I'm maybe expecting something a bit more exciting this end of month, given the fact that the anime is going to be returning October 5th, so you might want to do something cool for the end of month of September. And banners like this are skippable. Wait for them to come back as fillers potentially at the end of November, or even the end of December. Either way, hope you liked and enjoyed the video. See you guys next time. Take care, and peace.